these are the graphs that you need to know just by either looking at them or looking at their equations. They're what we would call the parent functions. Or I will sometimes refer to them as parent functions. It means there's no transformations on them. These are just the base functions and they're the toolkit functions because these are the ones that you should be familiar with. You should know that that's what the general function looks like. Okay? And when it comes to graphing, these are the graphing variations that you're going to be able to do on the MyOpenMath material. Okay? So I'm going to go kind of in order and kind of base it on, again, these do have transformations on them, but they're just the general shape of the graph. So the first is a linear function. Okay, a linear function is just a straight line. Right? And its variation here, you see it goes down, so it is reflected and it has some shifting occurring to it, which we'll talk about later. But a linear function is just the basic form x. Okay, y equals x, or f of x equals x. Okay, next, if we stay with straight lines, this one right here is called a constant. So a constant function is still a function. It means it passes the vertical line test. Okay, and it's going to be the form y equals b, where b is your y-intercept. So again, this is f of x equals x. This is f of x equals some constant b. Okay, next we'll move to, again, continuing with straight lines. This is a graph of what? Absolute value. So again, when you look at this, it's absolute value of x. F of x is equal to, remember when you enter this, both online and on your TI-89, you'll usually use ABS to indicate absolute value of x. Right, so those are the graphs kind of dealing with straight lines. Okay. In addition to these, you also have a parabola. A parabola, this U-shaped graph, is a result of what? X squared. Okay, so that's a second degree function. Okay, and right above it is this graph that is the base form is this. It starts at a specific value of x and then extends infinitely in one direction. That is the square root of x. The square root. So this one is quadratic. This one is square root. Right, if we extend past the power of 2 into perfect cubes, so this is a cubic graph here, meaning that it's x cubed, or f of x is equal to x cubed. Again, notice it gets steeper quickly. Okay, that's the exponential growth of that, is the power that's cubed. And then here, just like the square root and the quadratic, you have a cube root graph, and it doesn't get steeper, it gets flatter, and that is the cube root of x. And then these final two forms that you're going to see here, this is a reciprocal. And that means that it is f of x is equal to 1 over x. And this form where it's the same thing, but this bottom portion gets flipped up to the positive here, is a reciprocal squared. So this is 1 over x squared. And so those are the toolkit functions that you're going to need to be able to sketch and graph during this course. And so for the most part, like these are your basic graphing forms. These are the parent functions of the basic graphs you're going to see.